To the American people, we cannot allow the office of the presidency to stay like this. The whole purpose of representation is that you have someone that you have chosen to represent your beliefs and best interests, able to speak for you in our government. But this is not how our elections work. Most voters are forced to watch their chosen candidate be defeated and have to hope that the final electee will somehow represent their best interests. And so it is with our presidency. This is not representation as it should work. But this can be corrected by a president that recognizes the inherent failure of our current system and has the ability to find better answers. Here are my answers for your consideration. As president, I will be making 3 major changes to the operations of our White House. First and foremost, all current presidents have been able to informally ask ex-presidents and ex-vice presidents for advice. This has been called the Ex-Presidents Club. But in today's unstable national and world environments, it is more necessary than ever to have the experience and wisdom of our former top leaders fully available to the current president. So I will be making the Ex-Presidents Club an official part of the White House. All past presidents and vice presidents will be offered the position of Senior Special Advisor to the President. This will bring all of our nation's top leadership to bear on the problems our country faces today. In my opinion, this should have been done long ago, but since it wasn't, I will make it one of my first actions as the new president. And as stated, it is my view that our election system disenfranchises every voter whose chosen candidate is discarded after losing to another candidate. So I will also be offering the position of Special Advisor to all presidential candidates who proved to a substantial number of voters that they best represented their interests over the other candidates. This change will ensure that our country's executive branch is guided both by the best leadership in our country and the best representatives of the will of the people of our country. Second, I will be changing how the presidency and vice presidency work together. Currently, the president puts in a full, often long workday and is also on call 24/7. While the vice president handles side duties and stays up to date on affairs. But the vice president has never been the assistant president. They have always been the other president, the one who is ready to step in to fill the role of president should some disabling misfortune befall our elected one. It is constitutional law that there can only be one president, one person in the hot seat, taking full responsibility for the decisions made. However, if we're going to have 2 people in the office who are qualified to be president, we should use them both to maximum advantage for our country. So under my administration, every day, the vice president and I will effectively take shifts at the Resolute desk, so that there will never be a time that our country does not have either the president or vice president, or both, readily available to make on-the-spot decisions. Of course, the vice president's decisions must be reviewed and ratified by the president. But this is easily done through simple daily procedure. And in this time of national disruption and world chaos, the office of the presidency must be ready to react and respond at any time, day or night. As president, I will ensure the readiness of the presidency to respond to events is at maximum at all times, as it should be for the country that leads the world. Thirdly, I will be changing how the presidential transition process works. In the old days of relative world peace and national stability, we accepted the legacy of the king and his court model for our presidency and cabinet members. But having the president bring in a full new cabinet and attempt to transition those offices in a mere 2 months has historically cost our country a full year of disruption and ineffective leadership for our nation. In my view, there is no reason to allow our nation's government to suffer such disruption to its top leadership, especially with today's unstable conditions in our country and our world. Instead, I will be asking every cabinet member to stay until their replacements are fully trained. In addition, I will be considering retaining cabinet members whose performance has been exemplary and who wish to stay. The one test they must pass is to voluntarily accept and support the will of our people as to our nation's priorities, just as their president must. These are the 3 major changes I plan to immediately make to the office of the presidency. But as always, we do not need to wait for the next election to start fixing our problems of today. So as a candidate for the office of the president, I call upon our current presidential administration to actively endorse and adopt these measures. Regardless of who wins this election, Our country must always win as a result. Please join the social media threads dedicated to this special message below to show your support for these changes to the office of the President. I'm Paul Auger, candidate for President of the United States in 2024, and I fully approve this message.